on your roots.
Okay.
The NDC has been known to be a party that draws its soul from the Volta region. It's the place that gives you the most votes. It is your World Bank. But of late, in the last two elections, when it comes to the party's internal national elections, there's been a concern that the party was gradually not rewarding that loyalty with the people that you elect in your executives. Don't take my word for it. One of your own, Anita D'Souza, the last time he lost, and he wasn't the only person who lost from the Volta region, publicly stated that the party should be very careful, that they should be careful not to take the Volta region for granted. You've mentioned that in your campaigning, you mentioned that to the delegates. They voted for you, obviously, because they believe that you were right. How important will this be? Now you've been elected, right? So people then will be expecting you to deliver the Volta region. We've been analyzing the data. Anytime you fall from 90 into the 80s, in terms of percentage votes in the vote, you lose the national elections. So you need at least to aim to get 95% plus 10 out in the Volta region to win. Anytime you've done that, you won the elections. How important will this be in the eventual outcome because you're there now?
Okay. All right. I think that's a very good question. Firstly, let's clarify it. In terms of Volta region has clearly been, should I call it the bastion of the NDC, and that's normal. In every political calculation, you always have places where you can believe there's going to be your biggest support base. Even in America, even in England, in the advanced democracies, you have clear strongholds that you just know is always going to be red or it's always going to be blue. The same in Ghana. So it is what it is. Volta region is not simply about the geographical Volta region. Volta region also has what you call huge, so I call it the ambassadors of the Volta region. You find them in Greater Accra, huge.
So if you go to the Volta diaspora.
Absolutely. If you go to Greater Accra, Greater Accra, massive numbers. You go to Eastern region, huge numbers. Ashanti, huge numbers. Brongahafo, the three regions in original Brongahafo in the northern part of Ghana, the same. So Western, Central, Western North. So you see a huge congregation of them in everywhere you go. So it's a much bigger than simply just one region. So that is something that every political party needs to be able to, if you have such a rich bed of people who clearly have a certain natural support for you. Just as, for example, if you go to America, New York will always be a bastion for the Democratic Party. LA, Los Angeles will always, California will always be for the Democrats and so on. The same way it is in Ghana. So the Volta region thing clearly is an important consideration. What happened in recent times, has been an issue of concern. So a political party must be smart to make sure you don't have a repetition of that problem. Will Volta be able to rally? I believe Volta definitely will rally.
Will they rally because Fiifi is there?
You know, let's say it this way. Volta has traditionally stood for the party. But no matter how great you've been, a time comes when you start feeling as though you are being taken for granted, and no one would like to be taken for granted.
Is that feeling real or perceived? I need to clarify that. Is that perceived or real? You know it better, so tell us.
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
There's some perception that Volta has been neglected, but at a certain level, perception gets into reality when people start feeling that this is the case actually with us. And of course, when you look at the permutation as far as the leadership of the party was concerned, Volta felt that this is not right. This is not right. Especially when you look at what's happening in the NPP, when you see, for example, that key executives of the party, NPP, are coming from the stronghold of the NPP Ashanti region, and Volta looks at the top of the ticket, it says nothing. You understand? So it's a genuine concern. So it's not just perception; it also become a reality. So I believe the region clearly will be very willing to want to do everything it can for us to get power. Not simply because it is about the Volta region, but because Volta want NDC to come back to power. That's always number one. And Volta has always shown that through thick and thin, that no matter what happens, you want to fight for the party. Because as a party, it's just like football team. This is your team. It's almost like family. It's almost religion. You always want to work hard for it. I believe there'll be even much greater work that Volta will do, because this time again, it's like this is an opportunity for us to do whatever we can to make sure that our son, who is now the general secretary of the party, is able to at least see victory. So it's a collective thing. And Volta showed it through even you saw the numbers that came from the Volta region as far as the general secretary position. And you can see it was massive. That tells you the region is ready. It's ready to want to do extra work that will be able to deliver power, not just work within the region, but also with the diaspora. And that it becomes important in terms of helping the party. I believe we'll be able to claw back the seats that we lost. It will be to also work on our numbers, not just in terms of getting good numbers, but also getting good, higher turnout. I believe we can achieve that.
So you're talking about the railways minister's constituency in question,
yeah.
John Peter Amewu.
Yeah, actually that's where I was born myself. So that's basically like my own, should I call it a natal constituency. I was born there. So we're going to make sure, and Amewu knows us, we're going to make sure we take our seat back.